Imagine walking into a crowded room where everyone is whispering the same lie, nodding in agreement, smiling politely. And then, you, just one person, choose to speak the truth. In that moment, the room shifts. Some will avoid your eyes, some will judge you, some will even attack you. But others, the ones starving for honesty, will breathe, maybe for the first time in a long time. That's the power of truth. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't wait for permission. Truth, when spoken, cuts through the fog like light breaking into darkness. We live in a world that rewards silence. It is easier to stay quiet, to blend in, to pretend we don't see what's right in front of us. Silence keeps us safe. Silence keeps us liked. But silence also keeps us trapped. Every time you swallow your truth, a piece of you dies. Every time you bite your tongue for comfort, you reinforce the very system that tells you your voice doesn't matter. Truth is the foundation of trust. When you speak with honesty, people may not always agree with you, but they know where you stand. They know your words are not for sale. Integrity is not about being popular, it's about being unshakable. And when the noise of the world fades, what will matter is not how many people approved of you, but whether you stood on the side of what was real. Silence, though tempting, is complicity. When we stay quiet in the face of lies, we are not neutral, we are participants. The world does not simply fall apart because of the loud voices of the dishonest. It falls apart because of the quietness of the honest. The real question is not whether speaking truth is dangerous, but whether silence is far more destructive. Courage does not mean you feel no fear. It means you speak anyway. Even when your voice shakes, it means you choose integrity over acceptance, clarity over comfort. Each time you step into truth, you strengthen the muscle of courage. You discover that rejection cannot kill you, and silence can no longer control you. And here is the beauty of it: authenticity liberates others. When one voice dares to rise above fear, it creates a ripple. Someone else watching in the shadows suddenly believes they too can speak. That is how movements begin. That is how change spreads. Not in the echoes of silence, but in the defiance of one authentic voice. So ask yourself today, will you stay safe in the silence, or will you dare to be dangerous in truth? Because the world does not need more polite agreement. The world is starving for honesty. And your voice, trembling or bold, may be the very one that reminds others they are not alone. Truth is the foundation of trust because it is the one element in human interaction that cannot be faked for long. People may be impressed by eloquence, persuaded by charm, or distracted by appearances, but over time, the truth reveals itself, and when it does, it exposes what was genuine and what was false. Trust cannot be built on shifting sand, and yet many try to construct their relationships, careers, and reputations on half-truths and hidden motives. The result is always the same. Sooner or later, cracks appear and the very foundation collapses. When a person chooses to speak truth, they create a solid ground on which trust can stand, even when the truth is hard to hear or uncomfortable to admit. It establishes reliability. People may not always agree with what you say, but they will know you are not playing games with their perception. Truth has a magnetic quality because it resonates with something deep in the human spirit. We all have an inner compass that longs for authenticity. When you meet someone who embodies honesty, you feel it immediately. You relax, you open up, you trust. This is why truth tellers, even when unpopular, have influence. Their voices cut through noise, and their words carry weight because they are not spoken for applause but for clarity. In a world filled with manipulation and performance, truth is refreshing because it is rare. It has the power to restore faith where lies have bred cynicism. It rebuilds bridges that deceit has burned. And it reassures us that integrity still exists. Speaking truth may cost you comfort, it may cost you approval, but it will gain you something far greater, the unshakable trust of those who value honesty above convenience. Silence is often mistaken for neutrality, but in reality, it is a powerful choice that shapes outcomes just as much as words do. When falsehoods are spoken, when injustice is carried out, when manipulation spreads, silence does not cancel these actions. It amplifies them. By refusing to speak, by refusing to challenge what is wrong, silence allows the lie to stand uncontested. And in doing so, it becomes part of the lie itself. The absence of words is not the absence of influence. It is a quiet agreement that gives strength to those who exploit it. History is filled with examples where silence from the majority allowed the destruction caused by the few to grow unchecked. Many people stay silent out of fear of being judged, fear of losing opportunities, fear of standing alone. And yet, that fear is precisely what fuels systems of corruption and injustice. When those who know the truth choose not to voice it, the space is left open for deceit to dominate. Silence becomes complicity not because the silent agree, but because their lack of resistance signals permission. It says, "Do as you wish, I will not interfere." This passivity can cause as much damage as active wrongdoing. It is tempting to believe that silence protects us, but in reality, it traps us. It makes us prisoners of our own avoidance, forcing us to carry the burden of truths unspoken. The weight of suppressed words creates inner conflict and erodes integrity from within. To stay silent in moments that demand courage is to trade authenticity for temporary safety. And in that trade, we lose not only our voice, but also the chance to shift the course of what is unfolding around us. Courage is often misunderstood as the absence of fear, as if the truly brave are those who never feel their heart race or their hands tremble. But courage is not about erasing fear. It is about standing in the midst of it and choosing to move forward anyway. Fear will always whisper that it is safer to stay quiet, to blend in, to avoid drawing attention. It will paint scenarios of rejection, judgment, and loss. Courage does not silence those whispers. It simply refuses to obey them. It acknowledges the fear, looks it in the eye, and acts with integrity despite its presence. Speaking truth will almost never feel comfortable. If it feels safe, it is likely not stretching into the kind of honesty that threatens systems of deceit or forces others to confront realities they would rather ignore. The unease you feel before telling the truth is not a sign you are doing something wrong. It is evidence that you are about to step into real courage. That shaking voice, that racing heartbeat, those restless thoughts, these are signals not of weakness, but of bravery being born. Every time you choose to speak truth in the face of discomfort, you strengthen your own spirit. You learn that rejection does not destroy you, that judgment does not define you, and that discomfort is temporary while integrity lasts forever. Courage grows through practice, like a muscle exercised again and again. The first time you speak out, it may feel unbearable. The second time, slightly less so. With each act of truth, telling you discover that you are more resilient than you thought, and that the fear that once seemed overwhelming can no longer control you. Courage is built in these small, steady acts of refusing silence. Authenticity has a ripple effect that extends far beyond the individual who chooses to live it. When someone dares to speak with honesty, to show up without disguises, and to express what they truly believe, it disrupts the unspoken rule that says we must all conform to what is safe and acceptable. That disruption is liberating. It creates space for others to step out of their own hiding places, to shed the weight of pretending, and to discover the strength of their own voices. One person's authenticity can become the spark that ignites a chain reaction of courage in those around them. Many people are waiting for permission to be real. They are waiting for someone else to prove that it is possible to survive rejection, to withstand criticism, and still stand tall. When you choose to live and speak authentically, you become that proof. You show others that truth telling, while uncomfortable, does not destroy you. It frees you. In a world where so many are wary of masks and illusions, authenticity becomes a rare form of leadership. It draws people not because it is perfect, but because it is real. The beauty of authenticity is that it does not just inspire, it connects. When you are unapologetically yourself, You attract those who resonate with truth, and together you create communities built not on performance, but on honesty. These communities are strong because they are grounded in reality, not pretense. Authenticity, then, is not only a personal choice, but a collective gift. Each time one voice breaks the silence, it lowers the barrier for another to do the same. In this way, authenticity does not stay confined to the individual. It multiplies, spreading freedom wherever it is expressed. The choice to speak truth in a world that rewards silence is not an easy one, but it is the choice that defines character, shapes legacies, and builds futures worth living for. Lies may win applause, silence may offer safety, but only truth creates freedom. Every time you open your mouth to honor what is real, you are not only breaking chains for yourself, you are unlocking courage in others. The world is drowning in noise, but starving for honesty, and your voice may be the one that shifts the tide. Do not wait for the perfect moment or the approval of the crowd. Truth does not need permission. Stand in it, speak it, live it, because in the end, history does not remember the comfortable silence of the many. It remembers the unshakable courage of the few who dared to tell the truth.